Okay, so by now y'all had enough time to watch the episode.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
Now, the amount of work and editing that I'm gonna have to do today is gonna damn near put me in the casket, but a lot of you guys have been asking me to talk about Striking Vipers, and even though this latest season of Black Mirror has not been getting good reviews, I found that this episode was really cool. Like, it started a lot of interesting discussions online. I have not yet watched the rest of the latest season, but my eyes were glued to the screen the whole time during this first episode, I will tell you that. Like, so let's get into it, because it raised a lot of like questions and thoughts and concerns and debates and stuff. So the story revolves around three people named Danny, Theo, and Carl. Now, Danny and Theo are in a heterosexual marriage. Theo, who is played by Nicole, is such an interesting character. I'm glad that they did not like just let her be the third wheel to this whole thing, even though so I've watched so many movies, so many like shows, LGBT kind of thing, where it's just like you have a DL guy and he goes out of the marriage, and then the woman is just like, she's not even a character, she's just a shell, and then just let her do whatever. So I'm glad that they actually gave her power and autonomy as a character and as a woman in this show, especially in the end when we talk about, I'll talk about the arrangement a little bit later. But yeah, so it revolves around them. I'm not going to give you a whole plot synopsis because you watched the whole story, but essentially Carl and Danny, they're best friends, and so Carl, while Danny has his family, Carl comes with this video game. Like, they used to play video games all the time, but he comes with this video game called Striking Vipers, and it's just new technology now. So what happens is you can put this little thing on your temple like they always have in Black Mirror, and your mind enters virtual reality. So that means that you can, it's another world, meaning you can feel the sensations. If someone hits you in the game, you can feel it. It's like you're there. You can feel it. So it's a fighting game. They end up playing as two different characters. Carl plays as a woman and Danny plays as a man. So they enter the game, about to get into it, like fighting. The fighting looked awesome. Like I said, I could not take my eyes off the screen. It was really cool. It was a cool concept. But you know, they end up fighting. It was already sexual tension a little bit, you know, but then when they got in the game, I was like, all right, and they start rumbling and tumbling. They start rumbling and tumbling. Do you hear what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, what's going on? And then they stop, they pause, and then the characters, essentially them, they lean in for a kiss and they fucking make out, and then Danny freaks out and they just like, girl, exit game, and that's that. So it brought up so many questions as time went on, even though they kept fucking. As time went on, it's just like, you know, is this cheating? Because Danny's married to Theo. Danny's married to a whole ass woman. Is this cheating? What does this mean? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, what does it mean for my sexuality? Am I, like, what's going on? I think that's what kind of freaked his ass out. It's just like, he is, yes, Carl is a man, but at the same time, he's playing a woman in the video game. It feels like a woman, looks like a woman, is a woman when he fucks her. And it's just like, it's a complete mind fuck. Not only that, but I think when we move forward, they weren't just fucking. And I think that's something I wish they would explore it a little bit more, but they weren't just having sex. Like, it would be one thing if they just came there to circle jerk, you know, do what they have to do and get out of the game and exit the game. But he wasn't, they were cuddling up together. You know, and I think that is a side of the relationship that I don't know, I think it speaks for so many men who have had, they may have had curiosities, they may have had, and they may not even be gay at all or bisexual at all, you know? They may have just been curious to see what the tea was, and society does not allow them to do shit like that. They have to, if they want to do it, they gotta go into a virtual reality video game and fuck a woman when he's actually got over there. You see, I think that's another thing. And then also when you think about Theo's character, she was, one scene that really stood out to me, she's, first of all, Nicole, she acted her ass off. I mean, all the actors are amazing, but she really did a good job. The anniversary scene was amazing, but also the scene that really stuck out to me was her standing in the mirror just looking like, because Danny's over here fucking, she don't know it, but Danny's fucking in the video game, so when he come to bed, he don't want to fuck her. So she looking in the mirror like, oh my God, is it me? She looking at her body, and I'm just like, girl, you fine as hell. It's not you, sis. It's that nigga. Like, you know? So she's looking at herself, and it's just like, oh my God, there's so many things I can only imagine that goes on in relationships. I'm staying far away from that shit as of right now. I think this episode also brought up really interesting points about monogamy. And what is that? What does it mean? Because at the end, Danny, he ends up having to tell her what's going on because Carl and Danny end up meeting up. It's just like, look, we fucking like all the time. We cuddled up, making out. Let's just meet in person and make out and see if anything is there. Now, I think that Carl, I don't know what y'all think, but I think that Carl had real feelings and still has real feelings for Danny. I don't know what it is for Danny because I think Danny may still be confused. I don't know. Carl was definitely more emotionally, Carl definitely showed more of his emotional attachment to Danny. Maybe because he did not have a whole ass family like Danny did, so Danny was not able to do it as freely. But Carl definitely showed his emotional interest in him. And I think that if Danny was open and was just trying to fight his ass in the middle of an alleyway, if Danny was open to more possibilities, like I said, he definitely was not in that position because he had a whole family. I think that Carl would have definitely been in a real life relationship with Danny. I don't care what he said. I know that they kissed, that weak ass kiss. I know that they kissed and they said that they didn't feel anything, but I think that they were lying. I think that they were lying. Like, there's no way that your ass is going to be entering a video game, cuddled the fuck up, knowing who's on the other side. You know who's on the other side of this video game character, and y'all are still twiddled up, cuddled up like y'all a whole couple. Yeah, it was something going on. Y'all wasn't just fucking. You know, y'all wasn't just screwing each other around. Y'all felt something. And the thing is that they may have been feeling something the whole entire time, you know, and they just could not act on that shit. And the virtual world allowed them the freedom to be able to do that shit. Now, if I'm being honest, I thought that the ending would be a little bit different. I don't know. I didn't know if Black Mirror was going to be like, well, Theo's going to join in on the fun and they just all have a threesome in Nexus. I didn't know what it was going to be. But I liked the ending because, like I said before, it made sure that Theo still had power. Because she fine as hell. She was at a bar like, look, you ain't touching me, I can find somebody else who could do it. Like, so what's up? Like, what's the tea, sis? And so they created an arrangement. I don't know if it was a birthday or anniversary. I think it was every year on Danny's birthday, he's allowed to go on to Striking Vipers to have the best sex of his entire life, I guess. I guess he didn't even deny when Carl was talking, he didn't even deny that it was better than sex with his wife. Every year on his birthday, he's allowed to do that, but she's also allowed to do what she wants to do. So now, like I said, it's getting into what monogamy is and what a relationship is and all that shit. Like, would you feel comfortable knowing that this person, their mind is being blown every time they go on Striking Vipers? They're getting fucked by their best friend. Would you be able to do that in an arrangement where you also get to do whatever the hell you want to do on a specific day? Number one. Number two, is Danny gonna be able to just keep that shit on his birthday? Because if I'm gonna have mind-blowing sex only one day every year, and it's somebody I've known for years and years of my life, girl, I don't know, girl, my birthday might be a whole month. Fucking around with that shit. Is he gonna be able to do that? 3, what does that mean for Theo's character? What does that mean for her? Is she gonna fuck around? Like, does that shit fuck with your mind? Do you think something like that would last? I'm not saying that it would never last, but I'm saying for you personally, I guess for me, I know that I just I can't do that shit. But for all of you, do you think that something like that would be able to last for you personally? There are many arrangements. There's so many arrangements when it comes to marriages. You know, and I think that is the whole purpose of being in a relationship. It's just, you just decide on the boundaries. It's fine. You have boundaries, other people have different boundaries. But you guys get to decide on the boundaries that you have in this agreement. And as long, no matter what that is, if you get to fuck somebody every Friday and I get to do it every Tuesday, whatever it is, as long as nobody steps out of it, then it should be working fine. And I'll end with this. A lot of the episode felt really familiar to me as someone who grew up gay as hell in school and stuff. I mean, from middle school, I made sure the girls knew what the tea was, you know? So there were boys in my grade who were just like, they weren't publicly gay or anything like that, but because they saw I was gay, and I guess maybe, you know, I was a little cute, no, they wanted to explore that side of their sexuality, and I would just be like, well, shit, you can come on over, what's the tea, you know, like, but I always felt so bad for them just because they weren't, you could tell that they wanted to be bolder and be louder with who they are, but they were so scared, rightfully so, of what society and the school and the world would do to their ass, that they would just do that shit in secret or not act on it often at all. And I think that kind of parallels what's going on here as well. But see, that's why I always fight for just letting people be whatever sexual orientation or explore it or discover it for themselves. I would like to know your feelings about Danny and Theo. Like, what do you think when it comes to their sexuality? Do you think that they're like pansexual? Do you think that they are heterosexual? You think they're gay, bisexual? You know what I mean? What do you think? Do you think that they have known each other as friends for so long that they just felt comfortable enough like fucking each other in a video game? As long as someone is a woman, they're fine with it. A lot of people who call themselves straight do a lot of gay shit in locker rooms, okay? But they navigate the world as straight and they call themselves straight and they would not be in a relationship with a man. I think that there are so many forms of sexuality and so many ways that you can navigate it that it's really hard to describe or put a concrete label on the sexuality of these two, you know? And maybe that's how it should be? I don't know. I don't know. I've been ranting for a long time. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode. I thought it was interesting. I loved the ending. The only thing I wanted to see was a better kiss so that I can have a good goddamn evening.